Good? Okay, let's do it. How's it going, gentlemen? Good. How'd you like that presentation? Awesome, right? I've been to a few of these, and that was probably by far one of the best presentations I've seen given by an alumnus. So glad to have you guys here. My name is Ray Holmgren. I am a director of director of chapter services for the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity. I did an expansion last year, and that's what I meant to say. But 2009 initiate at the Gamma Delta chapter at the University of Arizona. And then I was a traveling consultant last year. I traveled to Keystone, Atlantic Coast, and New England region, and did an expansion project at Southeastern Louisiana University. And yeah, give it over to Tyler.
Whew, that was a lot. Hey guys, my name's Tyler Keelan. I'm a second year consultant. Last year I traveled Pine, Palmetto, and Bluegrass, so North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky. I conducted an expansion project at Hampton-Sydney College in Farmville, Virginia, what was our IOTA chapter. You guys should know that throughout the history, the refounding of Pi Kappa Alpha. This year I'm the consultant for the Dixie and Sunshine region, so Alabama and Florida. So with this session, there's pretty much three things that we want you to get out of this session. We're going to be talking a lot about role playing, but first off, we want you to be able to learn how to basically start and be able to hold a conversation anywhere and any time. Okay? Now second, what we want you to be able to do is have the ability to get somebody's number without it being weird. Now, I'm sure a lot of us can go to some girls at a bar or whatever, and you have your way to get a girl's number. That can be weird with a dude, right? But turn it around. If you're able to do it with a dude and get a guy's number, I promise you can get a chick's number at a bar anytime. Okay? And then the last is be able to give some unique selling points about Pi Kappa Alpha, about your own chapter, be able to figure those out. Each chapter has their own. It could be athletics. When you're talking to a really competitive guy, it could be alumni interaction, and they're involved with the chapter networking. It could be anything. So those are the three things that we want to be able to come out of this session today. Now we are going to do a little bit of role playing, have a couple guys come up. Ray and I will give some examples, but we'll kind of pick at random. If you want to volunteer, please do. But from there, we'll see how everything goes. We'll go through basics. We'll be the first one? Sure. Okay, we'll get you in a second. So we'll go through the basics of just introductions and all that, and then get into actually being able to get somebody's number. So, sound good? Cool.
Awesome, guys. So, how to talk to anybody. And I know that it seems stressful at first. There's a lot of anxiety when you're going up to a complete and total stranger, whether it's a girl, it's a guy, incoming freshman, a recruit, some guy in your classroom, or trying to play a pickup game of basketball at the gym. It doesn't matter. There is an anxiety. Some of you may feel self-conscious, but one thing you have to understand is that everybody feels the exact same way when it comes to trying to start a conversation with a complete stranger. It's awkward. But the art of making friends. So there's a 5-step process. If you guys want to take down notes, feel free to do so. So the first step of the 5-step process of meeting anyone is to identify and or create an opportunity to introduce yourself. Identify or create an opportunity to introduce yourself. So example we have here is you see a guy at the gym shooting hoops at the gym or at a local park, rec center, whatever it may be. He looks like a sharp guy. You notice he's not wearing a fraternity shirt, and you want to have the opportunity to go up and introduce yourself, get to know him a little bit more. So that's an opportunity about, it's using an opportunity to meet someone new. Who else can give you another example of an opportunity of meeting someone new? Obviously we're talking about recruitment, so it's an opportunity to meet a recruit on campus.
Moving day.
What's that?
On moving day.
Moving day? Okay, perfect. Who's got another one?
Just schedule in classes with people.
What's that?
You meeting people in classes.
You need to get in your class? Perfect.
Cafeteria.
Cafeteria? Awesome.
During orientation.
Orientation? Good. Tabling? All right, you guys get the idea. Step 2. Make your entrance by asking a simple question. Alternatively, you can make a funny and observant comment. So going back to the basketball example, say you hop in on this pickup game with the guy that you want to talk to, and you say, hey man, good game. Did you play ball in high school? Easy, right? It's simple. Keep it basic. So whether you're playing a pickup basketball game, or you're sitting at a kid in class with, hey man, how about that test last week? It was pretty brutal, right? Just strike up a conversation. Step number 3, follow up with natural conversation. Who can tell me the difference between an open-ended and a closed-ended question?
Open-ended question is something that requires more response than yes and no.
Perfect. You guys catch that? The open-ended question is when you have to answer more than yes or no. So someone give me an example of an open-ended question.
Why are you rushing and what are you looking to get out of it?
Okay, why are you rushing? Why are you looking to get out of it? Good. What else? Where are you looking to get out of a fraternity? Perfect. What else? What if you're not even, you meet a kid for the first time and the thought of a fraternity hasn't even come up yet?
What got you to come to this university or college?
Okay, perfect. What else?
Were you looking to get involved in on campus?
Were you looking to get involved in on campus? Perfect.
What's your major?
What's your major? Perfect. So you guys get the idea. You want to ask an open-ended question where they can take it in any direction, and you just follow the conversation through. Step 4, identify a reason to ask for his contact information. So going back to the basketball example, you strike up a conversation with this guy who's a potential new member, he's a recruit, sounds like a pretty decent guy. You say, hey man, we're actually playing a pickup game tomorrow, we can use a 5th. How about I grab your number and you can come around? I think we're probably going to be shooting hoops around 7. Sound good? If he's an incoming freshman and say it's first couple weeks of school, he doesn't have any friends yet, like who wouldn't turn down that opportunity? That make sense? Or if you're sitting in class with a guy like, hey man, that test was brutal. I actually have a study group tomorrow night at 7 o'clock p.m. How about I grab your number and you come with? And hey, happens to show up and everyone in the study group just happens to be a pike. Go figure. So even if the situation isn't even set up, I mean, seize the opportunity, just like what Brother Greenberg said out there. Seize any opportunity or make the opportunity. So even if you aren't playing, for example, if you're not playing a pickup game tomorrow, just say you're going to play a pickup game and then get a bunch of your brothers to show up and get the recruit to come with. All right, the final step is to set up the next contact opportunity and make your exit. So going back to the basketball example, same thing. Hey man, me and my boys are actually be playing a pickup game tomorrow. We need a 5th. How about I grab your number and you can come with? We're probably gonna play around 7 o'clock. Grab his number and get out of there. You don't need to make it awkward. You don't need to whatever. Just end the conversation, get the number, and go. Call him up the next day, but hey man, I just want to give you a call, see if you're still interested in playing basketball. If you want, I'll come give you a ride. Whatever. Same thing going back to orientation or going back to meeting a guy in the class. It's all the same concept. And if you kind of think about it, it's the same thing if you're meeting a chick at a bar, right? Same basic steps. You figure out a creative way to talk to a girl. You strike up a conversation, find some common interest, create an opportunity to see her again later on, grab her number and leave. The same thing. So those are the 5 basic steps. So what Tyler and I are going to do is Tyler is going to play the pike. I will play the recruit. And anyone just want to grab chairs or just stand? Or?
No, we'll just stand. So
Okay.
we'll basically start out just how to start that conversation, hold that conversation, asking open-ended questions. So somebody give us a scenario. Where are we?
Cafeteria.
Cafeteria.
Okay.
All right, so just eating. All right, Chick-fil-A. Who has Chick-fil-A's on their campus?
So
Who here knows a true cat is a pike?
yeah.
Yeah, watch out. Sorry. I'm really proud of that.
There's a plug.
Okay.
We're just going to pretend that I'm sitting down eating a meal. And action.
Hey man, how's it going?
How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm Tyler.
Tyler, Ray, nice to meet you.
Ray, nice to meet you too. So you got a number one, huh?
Dude, what else is there at AAA? I mean,
Pickles or no pickles?
always pickles.
I get extra pickles.
Extra pickles?
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, what you been doing today?
Actually, I just got out of class, grabbing a quick bite to eat. I'm about to head to an exam here in about 20 minutes.
Oh, what exam is it?
That's right, Psychology 101.
No way. Is that your major?
It is. I'm a psychology major.
What made you get involved with that? Like, does that really interest you? I mean, what do you want to do with that in life?
Basically, I want to study psychology and go into psychological therapy eventually.
Really?
Mhm.
That's extremely interesting. I've actually never been around somebody that wants to get involved with therapy. I've always thought of people like that kind of weird, but you don't strike me as a guy like that. So
I hope not.
Is that something that you really want to make a career out of for the rest of your life?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Cool. Awesome. Well, you know what? I'll let you get going. I know you said you had an exam and everything. Do you usually come in cafeteria around this time?
I do. Mhm.
Okay.
Every
So-
Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday, awesome. Well, actually, me and a group of buddies are always in here at this time, about 10, 15 of us or whatever, and a bunch of sorority girls we hang out with and everything. I mean, feel free next time that you're in here, you can come sit with us, and these girls will be happy to introduce you. Actually, these two girls, Sally and Sandy from AOPI, they're both, I think it was psychology. They may have said,
Yeah, I think Sally's in my class.
no way. Well, she's always sitting with us. So
Cool.
I'll go ahead and come over there and sit with us. Let me actually, I'll grab your number real quick, and maybe I'll shoot you a text next time we're in here. And if she wants a study partner, I'll let her know.
Yeah, man, that'd be great.
Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, I'll shoot you a text next time, or I'll see you in the cafeteria next
All right,
time.
Tyler, it was nice to meet you.
You too.
Cool. I mean, it's simple, basic. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Academy and all of you for being here this evening.
Cafeteria is one of the hardest ones, by the way. Like that's tough. So thanks for that one. I was hoping Jim,
Yeah.
play basketball or
I
something.
know the cafeteria can seem awkward, and it's like, okay, well, how do I, what am I saying? Like, hey, see you next Thursday at lunch. It's kind of awkward. In a situation like that, if you see a guy and he's sitting by himself and he's eating a meal, I mean, just sit down with him and have lunch with him and strike up a conversation and just find some type of common interest and whatever. I mean, if you guys want to go the sports route with playing a pickup game or saying, hey man, there's a barbecue on Saturday, like you should come by. You don't have to tell them it's at the Pike House or that you're a Pike. I mean, the basic thing is you necessarily don't have to bring up a fraternity in the initial conversation. The goal is just to get to know the guy and build a relationship, right? And then from that relationship, you can start engaging him about talking about a fraternity, the benefits of being in one. And if he's in a relationship with you and you become his friend and you bring him around other Pikes and he makes friends with them, the sell is going to be a lot easier trying to talk him into signing a bid card, right? Make sense? All right, cool. So Tyler and I are going to trade off. So who wants to volunteer at being the first Pike Recruitment All-Star? Lowell? All right, hop on up and go first.
Yeah.
All right. So Tyler is going to play the role of the recruit. Lowell, you are the Pike, the recruiter. You guys are
One orientation. No.
Orientation.
Freshman move-in.
freshman moving day.
All right.
All
This
right.
is something. This is coming up very quick, and this is something that you guys should definitely get involved with. With freshman move-in, there's no reason to wear. You don't have to. You don't need to wear Pike shirts. You don't need to wear Pike hats. You don't need to have Pike flyers, whatever it is. Just be yourself, and you're being a nice guy helping them out. They already know you're an involved student if you're doing freshman move-in. People that aren't involved aren't doing it. All right. So it's just simple, being friends. So you just helped me move my stuff into my dorm. All right. So go.
Got it all done, huh?
Yes. Thanks a lot for helping me out, man.
It's no problem. I needed a lot of help when I first started, and it's always good to have someone to have your back. Sometimes it's hard to meet a lot of new people on campus, and there's a lot of events going on and things like that, so it's always good just to get to know and meet more people on campus.
Yeah.
Are you interested in really joining any organizations, or?
I don't really know much about it. I obviously just moved in and everything, so I got a couple buddies from high school that are in the dorms next door and stuff. But other than that, it's all new to me. So I'm definitely trying to hang out and see what Southeastern Western University is all about.
I mean, it's a great opportunity. I would say, right from the get-go, try to find a good club or organization that you really fit in with and get to know the people. Because you can kind of get lost in a lot of things that are going on on campus, and it can be a lot more fulfilling. You really got to think of that college experience that you're trying to build. But a few buddies of mine, we kind of play some football on Wednesdays, and it's just kind of fun to break free because I'm sure you're going to be doing a lot of schoolwork and things like that. If you're interested in playing just two-hand touch, simple, just a few friends and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, you saw I have my cleats and everything, so.
I figured. I actually teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too, so we're always trying to stay active and do a lot of sports. If
Cool.
you're.
I'm interested. I like football.
Okay, cool. Well, I have your name. I'll hit you up on Facebook and I'll shoot you a text and maybe I'll see you next Wednesday. So you said you're free, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Do you need my number?
Yeah. Let me get that real quick.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
All right, and hey, if you need anything else, I'm always willing to lend a hand. I'm right close to campus, so shouldn't be an issue.
Awesome.
All right, man.
Thanks,
no
man.
problem.
So that was really good. Okay. Now, there's a couple things to work on there, but basically he didn't throw Pike in my face. It wasn't like we're Pi Kappa Alpha and we're biggest baddest whatever, and scaring a freshman that just moved on campus that has no idea.
Okay.
And so he has no idea, anything about fraternities or whatever. He doesn't feel pressured, rushed, or anything. But he just made that connection, found a reason to get my number, which is key. And he meant to ask for it, but he had my name. He's gonna hit me up on Facebook, which is cool too. He said he was gonna do it, so it's not creepy. You definitely want to let him know if you're gonna do that. Let him know. But he didn't, like I said, he didn't say Pike, he didn't throw it in my face or anything like that. He just found a reason, found a common interest of something that I would like to do. Go play football, just toss a pigskin around or whatever it is, and got my number for that. So I hit you up for it later. That's an extremely easy thing to do. Freshmen move in. I always tell guys, have an event going on that evening because it's as simple as just like right there. He could have, say they have a cookout with volleyball going on that evening with some chicks coming, some shorty or whatever it is. You don't have to just cook out whatever by the dorms at the volleyball court. All he's got to do is say, hey man, you're welcome or whatever. Me and my buddies and some of the girls we hang out with, we're having a little cookout over here. If you want to come grab some burgers or whatever, I'll grab your number, shoot you a text when we're doing that. Boom, done. That's it. Simple as that. So freshman event's easy. That's the key.
All right, another volunteer.
I'll do it.
All right.
Where do you want to be?
All right, so I'm the recruit. We are just walking out of class, let's say business management class.
Okay.
And you're gonna approach me and yeah, I'll let you do your thing.
So I'm the pike guy.
You're the Pike.
Okay.
I'm the recruit.
Okay.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Sure. Do I need to say like go or action? Or?
No.
Okay.
All
All right.
how's that class?
It's pretty brutal, man. It's a lot of information to take in.
Yeah. Are you majoring in business or?
I am, yep.
Yeah. So what brought you? Why'd you want to major in business?
It's just something that, it seems our entire industry is going business route, so I figured why not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you like it? Is it?
So far so good. It's one of my first business classes I've taken, but it's a lot of information, but I think I can handle it.
Yeah. Well, actually, me and my friends have a study table every week in the library. If you're interested, let me grab your number. I'll hit you up when we're studying. That way you can come and kind of get all the information.
Yeah, man. Honestly, that'd probably be great. The more help, the better.
Perfect. Well, let me grab.
I didn't get your name, man. My name's Ray.
I am Sam.
Sam, nice to meet you, Sam.
You don't need my name. I'll just text you.
Sounds good.
Good. Well, I'll let you know when we're doing our thing.
Okay. What time do you guys usually study?
We usually study around 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Okay. At 1 hour intervals? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Break it up. Scientists show that stuff. It's business. I can't
It's good to
explain
take little mental breaks if you take
Yeah,
study sessions.
it's good. So perfect. I'll hit you up.
Sam, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Put it up.
Good job. Yeah, so again, you can make an opportunity out of any situation, that's the point. So go in there, make that strong impression. And who's familiar with the 1-2 punch? You can tell me what the 1-2 punch is.
Samir.
Samir knows.
Strong visual appearance and sincere friendliness, I think.
Followed by.
Followed by.
Yeah, so strong visual presence followed by sincere kindness. So when you're going up to the kid or the recruit, shake his hand, give him a firm handshake, smile, introduce yourself. Hi, my name's Ray Holmgren, nice to meet you. Hey man, I saw we just got out of that class, like it's pretty brutal. How'd you think it went? Oh man, it was terrible, it's a lot of information. Well, hey, by the way, we're actually doing a study group. I don't know if you're interested in joining. We meet every Thursday at 7, 8, or 9 o'clock, and we get together and we study, we quiz each other. And honestly, for me, I'm a junior, it's been very effective thus far, so you should tag along. Yeah man, cool, sounds great, can I get your number? Again, make it an opportunity out of any situation. So, because we're tight on time, we're gonna transition into the next session. So, unique selling points. So you've met the kid, you built a relationship, he comes around, he hangs out with other Pikes. Now it's time to sell Pike. It's time to convince him that Pi Kappa Alpha is the decision that he needs to make. So who can tell me what a unique selling point is? Kind of straightforward, but.
Ours is the athletics part. We're the only fraternity that has athletes, collegiate athletes within our fraternity.
Okay, so exactly, it's a great example of a unique selling point. So unique selling points are the things that are unique to Pi Kappa Alpha that you can sell to the recruit. Whether it's your top in grades, or the best in athletics, or the largest chapter on campus, you have the most involved brothers, whatever it may be. You can go two routes with unique selling points. You can either talk about those things I just mentioned, like the key statistics that make your chapter great, or you can go ahead and give your 30-second elevator pitch of why you joined Pi Kappa Alpha. You guys are all familiar with the elevator pitch? Okay. So this is what we're going to do. I want you guys to take 30 seconds and write down in your book. I want you to give your 30-second elevator pitch of why you joined Pi Kappa Alpha, and they should too. Go ahead. A couple more seconds. All right, so Nathan, I want you to stand up, tell us what chapter you're from, and give me your 30-second elevator pitch.
All right, my name is Nathan. I'm from Kappa Mu at Wilfrid Laurier in Ontario. My 3 points I had right away was that a lot of our alumni are in hiring positions in the corporate world outside of Waterloo. So a lot of our alumni, like people who've gone through the fraternity, have been hired right away just because they have connections through the corporate and through their alumni. We are one of the largest fraternities in North America, so being from Canada, we only have 4 chapters in there, so coming down here right away, I can tell you right now, I'm meeting half of you just like that, and I'm making a lot of connections just through that. So that was one of my main selling points when I joined, and I always pitch that. And then I was going to say instant integration and opportunities in a small and spirited school, because we're only about 10,000 people, so it's definitely a very small school, and you want to get integrated right away, and there's a lot of opportunities, and we're probably one of the best ways to do that. So.
Okay, perfect. So a great example. We talked about networking. We talked about how you can get integrated in school and in your community, and how you're part of one of the largest organizations in the country. Perfect. Let's see, Jacob. Go ahead and stand up. Give me a 30-second elevator pitch.
I'm Jacob Dutton of Detroit. So I always say, being at Wayne State, we can get a campus, and we're the only fraternity that has a house, so we have to stay close to campus. And when being in the fraternity, we only have 4 fraternities on campus. So when I walk around campus, being in this fraternity, I can't go 5 minutes without saying somebody I know. Being in Greek life is a great social networking skills, and it's giving me a lot of job opportunities on campus.
Perfect, thank you. It's easy, quick, to the point. He gave a few unique facts about his chapter at Delta Nu at Wayne State. There's your pitch. So we've talked about meeting the recruit, making that first contact, building that relationship, building up to the sell of convincing him why he needs to join Pi Kappa Alpha, how it's going to better his life. And then comes a hard part, which a lot of us face, which are the no factors. So who can give me an example of a common no factor that you hear from a recruit?
Don't have enough money.
Don't have enough money.
That was mine. Don't have enough time.
Don't have enough time.
Heard bad, so.
Heard bad talk from other fraternities talking smack about Pike. Or you got one?
Have to ask my parents about it.
Have to ask my parents. Parents won't let me. Scared about hazing. Those are all great, unique selling points. So what Tyler and I are going to go through, we're going to give you an example of a unique selling point, and then we're going to have a few of you guys volunteer or come up here. We're going to teach you how to combat the unique selling point. The easiest way to combat combat a no factor, not unique selling point. The easiest way to combat a no factor is 3 words: feel, felt, found. Anytime you get a no factor, you respond with, I feel where you're coming from, I felt the same way, but when I joined Pi Kappa Alpha, this is what I found. I feel where you're coming from, I felt the same way, when I joined Pi Kappa Alpha, this is what I found. Tyler, you know, I would like to join Pi Kappa Alpha, but I just don't have the time.
I completely understand. When I came in, I got really involved right away with student government. That was something in high school that I was really involved with. You know, I was always in a debate club too, and I wanted to get involved on campus, and people told me during orientation too. So I did I walked in and got really involved with student government and everything, and I actually met some Pikes through student government, and they showed me all the other great things that they were doing and how involved they were in their chapter, but also on campus. And so once I joined, I realized that not only can I still be involved on campus, and felt like I didn't have a lot of time already, but I have more time because I have all these guys that help me out, and now I actually have even more support on campus and being involved.
Perfect. See how you did that? Feel, felt, found. So give me another no factor. Anyone, doesn't matter.
My friends don't like it, or they told me bad things about it,
Like joining a fraternity.
yeah.
You know, Joshua, I feel where you're coming from. I felt the same way. I had some resentments towards fraternities because, all you hear about on TV and the news is about hazing and drinking and people dying. But when I came around campus and I started meeting guys who were part of Pi Kappa Alpha, I realized that they were something more than that. They stood up for their values, and they talked about how their hazing isn't involved. And when I joined, I found that there's a completely different world that the media doesn't see about fraternities. It's, we do a lot of community service. We're engaged in other student clubs and organizations. This last year, Pi Kappa, our chapter, raised $50,000 in philanthropy, and we stand up for what we feel is right, and we don't put up with any of the stuff that you hear in the media. And that's what I found when I joined. Does that help? That makes sense? I would recommend to each of you that you have your own spin, your own answer to every no factor. If you guys can go on the pikes.org website. If you go on the chapter resources, you click on the recruitment square, and the recruitment handbook, there is an example answer for every single no factor that you can think of. I recommend that you read it over, come up with your own. If you guys how many of you had a job while working in college? Full-time, part-time, right? Well, I'm sure you guys can give a perfect example of why you're able to afford a fraternity, or why they could be able to afford a fraternity too. How many of you guys are taking 15, 18, 20 credit hours? All right, I'm sure you can come up with a perfect spin around of why a kid, if he says, oh, I don't have enough time. How many of you involved in student clubs, organizations, and have a job and or studying 15 or and have 15 to 18 to 20 units?
Pretty much everybody.
So much everybody, right? The bottom line is that they come up with all these no factors, but they don't realize that they're in the same shoes, or you're in their same shoes. All right, so let's see, I'm gonna call someone random. Red bow tie. What's your name?
Tyler.
Tyler, come on up. All right, so Tyler, I would really like to join Pi Kappa Alpha, but you know, I just can't afford it.
I completely understand. Finances were a real big deal for me when I came into college. You know, it's definitely a concern with a lot of people. But when I got on campus, one thing that Pike helped me out with, I got to network with a lot of guys, and it actually helped me get a job on campus. So I've been able to afford my dues, and we actually have a scholarship for incoming freshmen that you may be interested in.
Okay.
That I can get you signed up for and get you some information for.
Okay, perfect. So you see how you did that? The idea is to take away the no. So we talk about your scholarship programs. Talk about, I mean, if he's an incoming freshman, he may not be educated on other routes, whether it's like grants or scholarships offered through the university. So talk about those things when you're combating your no factors. Thank you, Tyler. Anyone else? Anyone else want to give it a shot?
Somebody.
What's your name?
Stephen.
Stephen. What chapter you from?
11 Beta and Florida Atlantic.
Perfect.
All right, so Steph, man, thanks for telling me a lot about Pike and everything, but you know, I know my parents aren't going to be cool with me doing a fraternity. Like, they're not great people at all, and there's no way they'll let me.
I completely feel you. I felt the same way, and I had a big discussion with my parents. Basically, I just told them that it's much more than that. You got connections, we do community service, you know, we raise money for all kinds of organizations, and it's just making me a better person. So, I mean, I think you could have the same talk with them, and I'd even help you out with it if you need to.
Cool, yeah, man. If you could give me some like points that I should hit on, like that would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll call him tonight.
Yeah, of course, I can give you my number too.
Appreciate it. There you go. Just, I mean, when it comes to the parents question that you may hear a lot, I can help you out with that. We can have if your parents would like to talk with our chapter advisor, so our chapter advisor could explain to your parents, how it benefited them and their career, all that kind of stuff. Utilize the fact that you have chapter advisors or an alumni advisory board to help them, speak with parents. Utilize the website. Send them to pikes.org. Parents go in there and actually see what the fraternity is really all about. Go to your chapter website. See that they actually do philanthropy. There's pictures and athletics and all that kind of stuff on there. And it's not just a social program club. Utilize that. Tell them, I will help you out with that. I will have our chapter advisor, Jim, shoot them an email or give them a call, whatever.
All right, so does that help, guys?
Yeah.
All right, so overall we talked about how to initiate the conversation, build that relationship with recruit, sell to him Pi Kappa Alpha and why he should join, and then combat any no factors. All the stuff that we've talked about today, again, you can find on the Pikes.org website under the chapter resources page. Click on the recruitment link. There's about a 40-60 page recruitment handbook that covers all of these topics. They talk about the 1-2 punch, the unique selling points, everything. I recommend you guys scan that over, take a look at it. And we have about 2-3 minutes left, so we'll take some questions. Do you guys have any questions about unique selling points or anything we've talked about thus far?
Particularly at my school, there's only about 1% Greek life participation. So one of the biggest problems I run into is kind of trying to, interest people in general in Greek life and really pique their interest. I can tell them all about the intangibles and the connections, but there's only so far I can go without actually having them there, showing them, and which we do in our recruitment, which is fine. But I'm curious to know what you guys use as like selling points on top of just connections and people helping you out, just in general.
So what I would recommend is, so what we do on expansion, and with our expansion, I mean, I would boast we probably have the most successful expansion program out of any other fraternity. I mean, for example, we went to Southeastern Louisiana, and the largest fraternity there was 62, and we walked away with a 73-man group in 4 weeks. Like, and same thing at Hampton City. It did. Our success rate is phenomenal. But what we do is if there is a recruit that we want for sure to join Pi Kappa Alpha, we just ask those open-ended questions. And one of them, the more efficient open-ended question is, A, what do you want to get out of your college experience? Take that answer and apply it, and apply Pi Kappa Alpha, and how Pi Kappa Alpha can enhance that college experience. And 2, if you can create your ideal organization, what would it look like? You don't have to say ideal fraternity. Just if you can create your ideal organization that will enhance your college experience, what would it look like? And he's going to say the obvious, good people in it. It's going to help out my college career, maybe help me get better grades, maybe help me get more involved on campus. And he's basically giving you the unique selling points, right? He's like giving you the answer. And if you take his answers and you pull in Pi Kappa Alpha and how Pi Kappa Alpha is his answer to get all those things. Does that help?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions?
So there's always going to be guys at recruitment events that you automatically know from the get-go that aren't Pikes. What's the best way to kind of remove yourself from that conversation and focus on other guys, or more than just being polite and about the whole thing?
It depends on the situation. I've seen chapters where they have a formal recruitment process, and for example, in the last 2 or 3 nights of the recruitment, like formal recruitment process, will be like invite only. So that's one way to answer your question. They just don't get invited. But ultimately, I would say just be a man about it. If you're the SMC or you're the recruitment chairman, and there's a guy who's just always coming around every single event, like, you don't even tell the guy when the next event is, but he somehow finds out and shows up. Like, we've all had to experience that guy, right? So when it comes to that, I would just be upfront about him and just pull him aside. I mean, you don't have to tell him why it's no. Just like, hey man, I'm sorry that. Thank you so much for coming around. We're glad to see you here, but I'm sorry, we just don't think it's going to be a great fit. And he's probably like, well, why? It's just, sorry man, it's just not a great fit for us. We don't see a match. I apologize. And I would also recommend him another chapter that he should look into. I mean, if he's very underqualified to be a Pike, and I mean, don't send him to like the worst chapter out there that's on your campus. I mean, Teak's like the worst chapter on your campus. Like, oh yeah, man, you should totally check out Teak. They'll take you in, But I mean, be nice about it. Be like, hey man, like, I'm sorry, it's just not a great fit. But I would recommend that you check out Sigma Chi or Sigma Phi Epsilon. They're a great group of guys, and I would, just be a man about it. I mean, don't be a coward and say like, then ignore the kid. You're gonna do more damage than if you're just upfront about it.
As far as like name generating and all that kind of stuff, we used to look towards like the sorority, but unfortunately Nationals has changed the laws where sorority can't go to any of our events or rush events, nor help us with rush. Is there like a loophole that you can use, or?
That's a tough one because, and if anybody has
What did you say?
anything, we'll go on that in a second, but just background with that real quick. That's a Panhellenic thing. And
So the question was that Panhellenic has restricted sorority women from coming to fraternity rush events. And so how do you like get around? Is there like a loophole? How do you get around that?
So I was just saying like that's a Panhellenic thing coming from the top. And a lot of sororities have taken that the wrong way. Campuses have taken it the wrong way. They're not supposed to be involved with fraternity formal recruitment. And like I said, a lot of them taken it the wrong way. But what's some of the things that you guys were going to say about that? Go ahead, Billy.
I was asking this question, but something we do is just kind of, take it away from a rush event. Like you're trying to, celebrate Pi Kappa Alpha, you can just call it somebody's birthday event. But at the same time, at that point, it's just like, we're becoming friends, and it doesn't have to do with the fraternity at all. But I mean, if you just happen to be in agreement, that's a conversation. It doesn't have to be the whole party that, you don't have to put a big pipe party saying, welcome incoming freshmen.
Yeah, you don't have to make it a Pike rush event or a recruitment event. Don't title it that. Having you already have that mentality of recruiting, you know that there's going to be some guys that are potentials there, and your chapter, or at least a group of guys, has that mentality. No reason to title it a recruitment event. No reason to even tell girls that recruitment's even whatever. Just, these are our new friends. Sick them.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will be a violation with that new rule or not, but what we've done in the past is just have the sorority girls cook meals for the rush event itself and do little desserts, put their letters on it, and then kind of purposely tell them, we don't tell them this up front. We tell them, leave at this time, you can drop it off then. That just so happens to correlate when guys are starting to show up, so they see these girls leaving and have dropped off the stuff or whatever it is, and they kind of see, those girls like slot, hook us up, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if like finding the loophole is the right answer, because at the same time, you don't want to set the girls up to get in trouble. Because again, it depends on your school. Sometimes the IFC fraternities will get in trouble if they have sorority women there. Sometimes they'll punish the Panhellenic groups. So if that's a situation, you don't want to put the Panhellenic groups in a situation where they could get in trouble. Other strategies that I've seen is after you have like a formal recruitment process, you just have some type of barbecue or a sorority appreciation event at the conclusion of Rush, or right before Rush starts, whatever it may be. Bottom line is that out of all the chapters that we have across the country, I would say that probably less than half of them actually have sorority women come up to attend the Rush events. So it's something unique. It's not something that's really necessary, but if you can get around it, you can get around it, or just not invite sorority women, invite other girls on campus who are affiliated with the sorority. Any other questions, guys?
Kind of got something going back to your question. You asked how do you approach a freshman, or what was your question?
Interest most of.
How do you pick their interest? Well, yeah, that's one thing I'm curious about too. Is I don't really have the mind point of the freshman, but I mean, from what I do understand, is they're all coming for social reasons. I don't know what school do you go to?
It's in Canada. You won't know.
But I mean, with that 1% population, I feel like a lot of, unless it's like a private school or.
No.
But
It's
I
just
think
that Greek life's kind of dwindled since we joined, because there was a mishap with a party, and then the student government basically unaffiliated us with campus. So it's harder for us now to attract people because we're not as prominent as we used to be. So that's what I was trying to get back into. Besides actually joining student government, which we've done, and we're getting involved, but it's just in terms of solid selling points is what I was asking for. But
well, I agree with he's saying ask questions and what they sell to you, buy it in and turn it into a pie concept.
yeah.
But I think a big thing, I go to Ole Miss, so a big thing is us is our interactions with girls at philanthropies.
Mm-hmm.
We have a philanthropy event that involves every sorority. Between that and social, you hype up how you have social events, even when they're at people's houses. And you let them get the benefit of the idea of, do you want to have 30 good friends rather than just the guys that you see out randomly in the library?
Right.
So then I think just bringing them in and showing that personal time will get them a lot more. And then, after you put in the personal time, you hope that they get a buddy that they bring with them.
For sure.
So it's like really marketing yourself at the moment rather than the whole fraternity.
Yeah, philanthropy's good for sure.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. It's all about, you're saying, creating a relationship with someone, right? And eventually, it's a lot easier to convince a friend to join Pipe than it is a complete stranger. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, just because you buy him a drink, he talks about that for a second, but if you start that lunch relationship and you hope he brings a friend along, I got this cool guy, so happens to be in a fraternity, and then next thing, hopefully, their whole dorm knows about this one guy. So I agree though. I never thought about asking them questions and saying, what are you looking for? Because every question I hear is, they're looking for a hot girl and they want a drink. So you try to correlate that, and by selling, we have events with girls, we have social events. From that to they do Bible studies with different sororities. So I don't know how.
And that goes back to the whole philosophy of recruitment, which is a guy's going to rush or join a fraternity where he feels he has the most friends, period. And if you're friends with him, he's going to go bike. If he's friends with a handful of bikes, he's going to go bike. So just back to it. All right, guys, we got to wrap it up. There's actually going to be on Saturday at 5 o'clock, there's going to be another how to talk to anyone session. They're going to get more into role playing and do a lot more role playing. And if you guys are interested in that, feel free to go to anything of those trending topics. But if you want to practice some more role playing, please go to that. This is something that you can bring back to your chapter. I've seen chapters where when they're really trying to do some role playing or before recruitment starts, if they have a formal recruitment or something like that, they'll have their rush committee stand at the door, and leaving the actual chapter meeting, you have to give a good first impression, or you have to give a good, no factor combat, or you have to be able to give your elevator pitch or something like that to leave chapter. Bring that back to your chapter. I mean, if it's extremely awkward doing it with somebody up here, but when you actually get in that situation, if you've practiced with your brothers and done some awkward role playing and all that, and you actually do it out there, in the cafeteria, at the gym, wherever it is, it's really natural. It's just going to come back to you. So practice it. Bring it to your chapter. Do role playing. It's going to sound corny. It's going to feel weird. Do it, and I promise you, the first time you actually do it out on campus, it just comes to you. You don't have to think about it. I mean, Ray talked about how our expansion model works so well. We practice nonstop, and then once we get out there and do it, it's just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I mean, have fun with it. I mean, you can make it a game. I visited a chapter where they made a game where someone would walk into the house after class. They'd walk in the house and someone would be on the couch and say, "Hey Jordan, man, I can't join a fraternity because I don't have the time." And that kid would have to spitball it right there what his answer was. And I mean, practice it. It's recruitment season right now. So when you go back to your chapters, make a fun game out of it. I'm sure you can find 1,000,001 ways how if they don't get the answer right, do a slap bet or whatever it is. But make it fun, practice. I promise you it'll be effective. So in about 5 minutes, back in the big ballroom where we were the previous session, we're having our recruitment session by Kurt Schleffler, who used to be the Director of Membership Growth. He's a total stud, he's a boss, and he'll give you a great presentation on the big overall concept of recruitment and how you can win recruitment on your campus. So, thank you guys for your time, appreciate it, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment.
Cheers. It was good. Yeah, no problem.